Sheffield United's relegation has finally been confirmed from the Premier League after one of the worst seasons ever from a Premier League side. Where do they go from here? So on Saturday they lost 5-1 against Newcastle, or should I say we lost. For my sins, I'm a Blaze fan. We've now conceded 99 goals for the season. We're 1 goal off conceding 100. We've already conceded the most. The team's a shambles. A lot of players are out of contract. The ones who are on loan, Brighton, Diaz, Maxey, are not going to be staying. Holgate might stay next season. The team needs a total rebuild next season. Let's go into that. So we're in summer 2023. Sheffield United have got a game against Crystal Palace coming up on the first day of the season. They've got Ndaiye and Berge. They've got Ndaiye and Berge. They've got some key players. They're rumoured to be signing Tommy Doyle, who was great last season for them. Within a space of a couple of weeks, we'll lose Ndaiye and Berge, we'll lose Ndaiye, and we're left with an inexperienced Benny Traore and a Sula up front on the first day of the season. Really, as soon as this happened at the start of the season, Paul Heckingbottom was shafted, the fan base was shafted, the squad was also shafted. We stood no chance from the get-go. Now, we did sign Gustavo Hamer, who's been good. We signed McAtee back on loan towards the end of the window. We signed Vinicius Souza for 12 million. We got Luke Thomas on loan. We got Larouci on loan at left back. But quite frankly, in the summer, the squad building was poor. I look back at it now, I'd say Gustavo Hamer was the only player where we may actually make a profit on him. And I could delve into the season a bit more, but quite frankly, it was poor. There was a couple of good games. We won Wolves 1-0, that was our first win of the season, but even then, on another day, we'd have lost it. At the start of the season as well, we were 2-1 up against Spurs. Within 10 minutes of injury time, they made it 3-2 and we lost, I think. And really, we've conceded too many late goals this season. If games were based on 0 to 80 minutes or 0 to 70 minutes, we'd probably still be in the relegation zone, but we'd be in a much better position. Obviously, when Chris Wilder came back in the first half of the season, we thought the second half of the season may have been better. We've played much better. There's been a clear tactical plan because unfortunately under Paul Heckingbottom it felt like there wasn't much of a plan. It was just sit back and see what the creative players can do when we get the ball. But unfortunately Chris Wilder is not a miracle worker. He's done successful things with the club before, and I'm sure if we keep him this summer, which it looks like we're going to do, he could do good things with the club. Now, you look at the list of players who are out of contract, and there's quite a few. I'll just whittle a few of them. So Chris Basham, who suffered a potential career ending, is out of contract. John Egan. Ollie Norwood, unfortunately, probably one of our best players for about 3 seasons. These last couple of seasons, he's just not been up to it, unfortunately. Ollie McBurney. Wes Fotheringham, Ben Osborne, but it looks like he's staying. George Bordock. Alongside that as well, we've got some deadwood in the squad which we need to get rid of. Ismaila Koulibaly. Vinicius Souza, potentially, we can talk about him later, but as a fan base, they don't like him. Chris Wilder's not fond of him. There's also players in the squad like Austin Trusty. He's the right side of 25, but he just doesn't look cut out. He might be good in the Championship. Last season, he was Birmingham's Player of the Season, but for Sheffield United this season, other than he gets most salary, he's been a shambles. Now, as I say, I think we'll keep Chris Wilder for next season. I think this season we have looked better. We've looked more strategic. We've looked like we've had a plan this season with him in charge, but next season, we don't know what the budget is. Likely going to be small because the owner is skint and doesn't fund the club very much. Ironically, he has just bought a new training ground and also land around the ground. So he is invested into the club at times, but it just feels like on the playing side of it, we're not doing much. It's an absolute miracle that in 2023, Heckingbottom got us promoted from the Championship. It was a team where if we didn't get promotion, it was going to be dismantled. We'd have sold players for money and we'd have just ended up becoming one of these teams like Stoke, QPR, who just settle for a mediocre Championship side. Not to put a down on any of those clubs either, because with the job that Sheffield United potentially have, we're just going to be having a squad which is more of a Championship squad. You know, we've been privileged since Chris Wilder got us promoted to the Premier League that we've just had the glory years. You know, we've had 5 years of pure success where we got promoted from League One, then we had a good season in the Championship, got promoted from the Championship, finished 9th in the Premier League or 10th, and then got relegated, and then 2 good seasons in the Championship, and now. So once more news comes out about the players that are coming and staying, other clubs that have released their players, the transfer budget, what Sheffield United have, then I can potentially do a deeper dive on where we're going to go from there. Potential players that we could sign. You know, I'm just putting it out there now, there's a few players that are out of contract in the Championship. Callum O'Hare, he'd be a good signing, but is he going to go to a Premier League club, maybe one of these that are newly promoted? Very potentially. There's also Tyrese Dolan, who's out of contract at Blackburn. I feel like if Chris Wilder wants us to go to a 4 at the back, which he's flirted with this season, Tyrese Dolan could be fantastic. But talking of that system, Chris Wilder seems very wedded to the 5-3-2 structure that he uses. I don't know if that's going to be going anywhere. I think we're going to be staying. I think we're going to be staying with the 5 at the back. The Championship, unfortunately, has moved on. You know, you see teams like Coventry, who now play 4 at the back after playing 5 at the back for years. You know, it just seems the way with the Championship trends. It was 5 at the back. It was a 5-3-2 where you cluster the middle. You don't leave many gaps in the pitch, but now there's more open 4-2-3-1, which is trendy in the Championship. It seems the teams have managed to combine a tighter defence with also free-flowing attacking football. And compared to about 3 or 4 years ago, the Championship is a much funner division to watch, but there's also a golfing quality, which this season we've seen. We've seen the top 4, which is Southampton, Leeds and Leicester. The 3 that were relegated last season, all in the top 4. And Ipswich, they're potentially a club which have no right to be there. They've got Kieran McKenna, who's a fantastic manager. They've still got a core of the players that they got promoted from League One last season. They're fantastic, but they're the outlier. We've got Norwich in the playoffs, who were relegated a couple of seasons ago. West Brom, who have parachute payments still, I'm sure. So it feels like the Championship is very much becoming, a top 6 and then the other, which is unfortunate, really, but that's the way it works in football. If you get into the Premier League, you're already a class above. Which, from a Sheffield United perspective, I feel like that is quite good for us because obviously it means that we can be a better team in the Championship. I'd much rather be a better team in the Championship than the worst team or one of the shittest teams in the Premier League. With regards to recruitment, it's not been good enough. In the Championship, we signed a couple of Man City loans and they got us over the line. McAtee and Doyle. Last season, or this season should I say, other than Gustavo Hamer, can we really say any of the signings have been successful? And I've got to say, being announced that relegation is official, it feels like a weight off of a lot of Blaze fans' shoulders because we've been that poor this season. It's not been a fun season. I remember looking at around the 20 games mark and I was thinking, God, we're already relegated. What are we going to do for these last 18 games? It's been a slow drag of a season. For some reason, as a fan, I'm stupid enough to get excited about every game thinking that our fortunes might turn around. But inevitably, we end up playing well for about 20 minutes in a certain spell of the game, but for the rest of it, we're just dominated. Fitness is a massive issue. We need to improve that in the summer as well. We just don't have the legs for a 90-minute game. We get to the 70th minute and we're fucked. Do I trust Wilder with this summer rebuild? Yes. But do I think we also need to have a lot of work done behind the scenes? Yes. The coaching staff isn't up to scratch. The amount of set pieces we've conceded this season or looked awful in is appalling. We need to get a set piece coach in ASAP. We're signing a first team analyst, I'm pretty sure. It's one that was at the club before. Excuse me for not knowing his name, but he's followed Wilder everywhere. And if he was good during the glory years, then I'm sure he'd be good now. But I'll stop waffling on now. Thank you very much for watching the video. Any Blades fans or football fans interested in this topic, get your comments down in the comment section. The Championship is the best league in the world, so I will be doing more content on that as well. But until next time, guys, have a nice day. I'll see you later.